continuing with some base scripts dealing with taking a surface and building meshes out of it. This will tend towards what's referred to as rationalization in a few other studies that I'm studying within this computational GH-Python book. I have tried to manipulate these scripts and keep them away from the Python node and do something a little particular with them before and after. And what I focused on are three. This GH file will hold three scripts that are tied to quad panels. Fairly simple small script just with some iterations and dealing with how you position, how you select your points and move your points on the surface. And then there'll be a tri-panel and there'll be a die panel, which will be a diamond panel. And so what I've done is I've gone in here and scripted and brought it into Revit because I did think that, in time I'd probably end up doing some things within the Revit window. Nothing works well it's on turntable. You can see this kind of fun device here. And I have a mix of panels here. I have a mix of squares, diamonds, and triangles. And that just makes for a very interesting pattern geometry that I'm kind of losing my mind in. And then here you can see how it's exported over to Revit. Very similar to what I was doing. There's a surface division which starts and generates quad panels. So I'll just leave this and allow us to just go in and select the ones that I want. I believe if I select here, you'll only see the quad panels. There they are. And I've broken those into 4 groups. They're all functioning, and of course they come together and pull together the entire mesh, which I've added a few parameters at the beginning through a division node in the negative and positive directions, which are tied to your divisions that you end up V and U divisions, whether you keep them the same or not. So you can generate some cool geometries there. The script is very similar, and all I did on the second one, play around a bit with division by triangles. I think I actually like the divide by 2 when you get into here, and if we then leave that other one and just select these 2, you can see the triangle patterns of one set is here and the other set is here. And then I've also divided those in case I wanted to play with the geometry separating them. I do relate them, and I said in the past video, I do relate them to the tools that are within your tree items, dealing with relative item and relative items, getting in here and exploring tree statistics and all the things that you should do in visual nodes, which I think Mode Labs online, or Mod Labs was a very good example of how to write Grasshopper node scripts, but trying to tuck as much of this into a Python node as possible. It doesn't have to be very big. It's a lot easier to run iterations and produce, 2 dozen lines of code than it is to try and pull together, several dozen clusters of Grasshopper nodes. And once you get your head wrapped around that, the Python actually starts to make a lot of sense. The last one down here is the diamond patterns, which you can see here, which are pretty nice to play with. There's a couple of triangle ones that pop in there, which I think are interesting. Kind of default, and that's probably dividing by an odd number or an even number. 30 divided by 8 is probably going to leave me a remainder, so that's probably why I end up with those things. So you're starting to visualize your math. Once again, the visual geometries that you're seeing here are different from the geometries that you're using to drive the logic in the Python node. And this last one gets a little longer, not too much longer, just has 2 full iterations. And of course, we're dealing in functions. I think that's the biggest thing to notice is that going through this text, you're starting to put things into something you can pull out and apply to any service. So you're defining your quad panels, you're building a definition for tri panels, and building a definition for diamond panels. So I'll leave that, and I'll be fairly playful for that through a little bit of a tutorial. Wickerson Studios is where I base a lot of things. I'm running my Patreon, which is where this kind of tends to lead, and then GitHub is where the files will be for Patreon members that want to actually dig into this and then apply it to what they're doing. So 4 minutes, just an overview of what the next video will be like, and thanks very much for watching. Michael Wickerson, Wickerson Studios.